Alison Thewliss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. May I first pay tribute on behalf of the SNP to Michael Martin. He was the MP when I lived in Denniston, and I want to pass on my own and my party's condolences to his friends, families and to the Glasgow Labour family, who will miss him very much. I would also like to welcome the Secretary of State back to government. He's the third Secretary of State I have faced across the dispatch box, a clear sign of a strong and stable government, I'm sure everyone will agree. Mr Speaker, in England, homelessness is soaring, but in Scotland there has been a 38% reduction over the past 10 years. The Minister recently visited Glasgow to discuss some of the projects that are happening in the city that I represent. Could she tell the House a little bit more about what she learned on her visit?
Hear, hear.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr Speaker. A very useful question. Thank you very much. Fibres in the post. I went up to Glasgow because one of the reasons why I went up to Glasgow was for 4 years homelessness and rough sleeping had reduced, but there had been a blip. And that was the reason why I went up to Glasgow, because Glasgow and other areas weren't sure why there had been that increase in rough sleeping in Glasgow in particular. So that's why I went up there. I was hugely impressed with the charitable sector and Glasgow City Council with the work that they're doing on rough sleepers, particularly implementing their own version of Housing First. So whether it's the Glasgow that are doing it, City Council or the charities, very innovative work.
The Minister for her kind words. I'm sure the sector in Glasgow will be very pleased to hear what she has learned from that. Another particular group who struggle to get housing and end up in homelessness are those with insecure immigration status and who have no recourse to public funds. Can the Minister tell us more about what her government intends to do to ensure that vulnerable men and women do not end up sleeping in the streets because of the policies of the Home Office?
Hear, hear.
The situation in parts of the UK is slightly different, and there are projects around England where there is government funding that look after people who are in indeterminate national status. I honestly don't know whether it's a UK situation for Scotland or whether it's a Scottish matter, and I'd have to write to the lady on that issue.